Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're looking at a stack of sources covering the really competitive world of radio-controlled cars, RC cars in Asia.
Yeah, and we found something quite interesting, didn't we?
We really did. A kind of competitive paradox you should know about. You've got these big Western brands like Traxxas and Arrma, hugely popular in Southeast Asia. I mean, they dominate there.
But then you look at Japan.
And they're basically nowhere to be found. Same region, totally different stories. Okay, let's unpack this.
Right. And your first thought might be, okay, is it about quality? Or, maybe technology.
That's what I initially assumed.
But the sources, they really point elsewhere. It seems to boil down to culture, legacy, and this really rigid distribution structure that basically dictates what even gets onto the shelves.
Okay, let's start with Japan then. You described it almost like a fortress, right?
Yeah.
Less a market, more a duopoly.
Exactly. It's just overwhelmingly dominated by two local giants, Tamiya and Kyosho.
Titans of the industry there.
Absolutely. And it's not just about market share. There's a deep cultural thing going on. Tamiya, for instance, they've been around since, 1948?
Wow, that's legacy.
It is. And their whole focus is on the build process, the nostalgia, the educational side. Their main store in Tokyo is even called the Tamiya Model Factory. Tells you everything.
Emphasizing the model making, the craft.
Precisely. And then you have Kyosho. They built their name on, elite racing. Think 8 world championships with their Inferno buggies.
Right, the Inferno series is legendary.
It is. Plus, they innovate, too, like with those little Mini-Z micro cars. Super popular.
So, okay, Tamiya's about the build, Kyosho's about the racing pedigree.
Yeah.
Why can't a brand like Traxxas, known for its ready-to-run trucks, just barge in? Seems like an easy sell.
Well, their whole philosophy just doesn't quite mesh with the dominant Japanese preference. Western brands like Traxxas and Arrma, they're all about convenience, ready-to-run, RTR.
Get it out of the box and go.
Exactly. And they push bashing, that high-impact, super durable, jump-it-off-the-roof kind of driving.
Fun, but maybe not what the traditional Japanese hobbyist is after.
Generally, no. The sources suggest the preference there is for the build itself, the scale detail, the meticulous work. It's almost a different hobby altogether.
So it's not just culture stopping them. There's a practical barrier, too, like getting the products in.
No, definitely. It's a huge barrier. The whole retail ecosystem is very insular. We found sources mentioning major online sellers, like RC Japan. Their whole setup is designed to export Japanese RC goods out to the world.
Not to bring foreign stuff in.
Right. There's just no real formal distribution channel for the big American players, which means, you go to a major Japanese race like the JMRCA All Japan Championship.
And you won't see Traxxas or Arrma listed.
Exactly. They're just completely absent.
Okay, so Japan is this fortress built on legacy, culture, and distribution walls. How did these same Western brands totally conquer Southeast Asia then? It seems like the opposite story.
It really is the perfect contrast. Southeast Asia, or SEA, it's much more globalized, much more open.
And distributors play a key role.
A massive role. The success there is directly linked to strong regional distributors. Guys like Toy Car in Singapore, Hobbieswear in Malaysia, they're like the kingmakers. They actively promote and push global brands.
And this open market, it seems like it led to a clearer split in the hobby itself.
Yeah, a very clear segmentation. You've basically got two distinct scenes. First, there's the bashing segment.
Where Traxxas and Arrma rule.
Absolutely. Valued for toughness, power, speed, and that RTR convenience. Just pure fun and durability.
And how does Tamiya fit in there? Or do they?
Well, in that specific bashing context, Tamiya often gets seen as maybe a bit dated. Sometimes people say the plastics are a bit brittle for that kind of abuse.
Okay, so bashing isn't their strength there. What's the other segment?
That's the competition segment, proper racing. And here, it's a real fight. You've got specialized brands, American ones like Losi, Associated Electronics, European ones like Schumacher.
Competing directly with Kyosho and Tamiya's racing lines.
Exactly. You see them all battling it out at big events like the Thailand International Touring Kart Championship, the TITC.
Interesting. So Tamiya is seen as maybe brittle for bashing, but it's still competitive in racing. How did they manage that popularity overall in CEA, given the intense competition?
Well, this is where Tamiya played it smart. They didn't just try to beat everyone at their own game. Instead, they created the Tamiya Asia Cup.
Their own racing series.
Exactly. A huge, really popular, brand-specific series that runs across the whole region. It lets them leverage their strengths, nostalgia, affordability, the fun of racing Tamiya cars specifically.
So they created their own playground where they always win, essentially.
Sort of, yeah. It ensures their brand stays relevant, stays popular, but on their own terms. They neatly sidestep having to directly compete chassis to chassis against every high-end, specialized racing brand in open events. Very. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really shows how a product's success depends massively on fitting the local culture's use case. Is it about the meticulous build, like in Japan, or is it about specialized performance for bashing or racing, like in SEA?
It's fascinating. Japan basically set up like a non-tariff barrier, didn't need import taxes, cultural loyalty, and the distribution setup did the job.
That's a great way to put it.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
What other product categories out there use that same playbook, cultural legacy, tight distribution to quietly keep global competitors at bay? Something for you to chew on.